Let me ask you something. Have you ever walked into a trade thinking, this one has to win? Like the market somehow owed you a green candle just because you needed it? Yeah. That feeling? That's how most traders blow their accounts. But here's the wild part. Casinos don't think like that. Casinos never say, this spin must win. They don't care if they win this one, or the next one, or the next 10. They care about one thing. The long game. The big picture. The probability. And if you want to grow as a trader, if you want to stop bleeding money from emotional trades, you need to think the same way. But don't worry, today, I'm not just teaching you something. I'm walking you into a new way of seeing the market, a way where you finally take that pressure off your chest and trade like someone who actually knows what they're doing. So let's start with a simple picture. Imagine this. You walk into a casino. Lights everywhere. Sounds everywhere. People smiling, or crying, or both. But above all that, there's something you don't see. The invisible calculator. The house edge. The thing that makes casinos richer every single minute even though they lose hundreds of games every single hour. Sounds crazy, right? How can a place win while losing? Here's the secret you've been ignoring in your own trading. Casinos don't need to win every game. They just need the math to play out over time. Now let me ask you, do you trade like that? Or do you trade like someone who treats every single trade like a life test? Be honest. You know the answer. You probably go into a trade thinking, this has to work, because I want it to work. But the market doesn't care about what you want. It never has. It never will. What if, instead of trying to be right, you traded like the casino? What if you stopped caring about the next candle and focused on the next 100 candles? Feels different, right? Suddenly the pressure drops. Your breathing slows. Your decisions start coming from your brain, not your emotions. Because now, you're not a gambler. You're the house. Let me show you something else. Have you ever played a game where you think you're so close to winning, but the game pulls you back at the last second? Like when you're running in a dream, but the ground turns to mud? That's the market for most traders. They think the market is fighting them, but really, they're fighting probability itself. And probability never loses. Here's a little secret the pros know. Your job is not to predict which trade wins. Your job is to control how you behave across many trades. Think of it like flipping a coin. If I flip one coin, anything can happen. Heads, tails, doesn't prove anything. But if I flip that coin 100 times, the truth shows up. Heads comes 50%. Tails comes 50%. That's probabilities at work. Now imagine each coin flip is a trade. Would you panic over one flip? Would you cry if one flip didn't go your way? Of course not. That would look silly. But in trading, we panic. We cry. We fight the chart. We chase the win. We act like one trade decides our future. You know I'm right. But here's where everything changes. What if you could train your mind to think like the casino? What if you could stop reacting to every little pip and finally trade with calm confidence? In the next part, I'm going to show you exactly how to build that casino mindset, step by step, so you stop trading like a gambler and start trading like the house. But before I continue, you ever notice something strange about casinos? They're calm, even when someone wins big, even when someone jumps up screaming with joy. The casino doesn't panic, doesn't chase, doesn't try to make back the loss. It just keeps going. Because the casino knows something you keep forgetting. One loss means nothing when you have the edge over many trials. Let me ask you this. When you lose a trade, what happens inside you? Do you feel that pressure behind your eyes? That heat in your chest? That voice saying, get it back now, come on, just one more trade? Yeah, that's the problem. You're thinking like the gambler, not the house. Now picture this. A man walks into a casino and sits at a roulette table. He slams $5,000 on red. The wheel spins. The ball dances. And it lands on black. He loses. Just like that. Does the casino feel pain? Because for every person who wins or loses, the casino knows exactly how the math plays out long term. They understand something most traders never learn. A single outcome does not matter. Only the collection of outcomes matters. If you truly understood this, you'd stop judging yourself by your last trade and start judging yourself by your next 100 trades. Let me challenge you. When was the last time you thought about your next 100 trades? Not the next one, not the next setup, but the next 100? Most traders never think that far ahead, and that's why they stay stuck. They make every trade feel like it's life or death. But casinos? They zoom out so far. One loss looks like a tiny speck in a giant ocean. Now let's get deeper. Imagine you're baking cookies. Stay with me, weird analogy, but it's going somewhere. Let's say you bake one cookie, and for some reason, it burns a little. Do you panic? Do you throw the whole recipe away? Do you scream, "Cookies don't work"? Of course not. Because you know the next batch will come out fine. But in trading, your brain treats that one burnt cookie, your one losing trade, like a disaster. Because you haven't trained your mind to think in series. You're stuck thinking in singles. But professionals know. Trading is not one cookie. It's the whole tray. It's not one bet. It's the entire game. It's not one chart mistake. It's what you do over many trades that builds your edge. Here's the truth most traders refuse to accept. Your edge only shows up over a large sample size. You can have the best strategy in the world. But if you only take 5 trades, you won't see the edge. You won't see the math. You won't see anything but randomness. That's like flipping a coin 3 times. And then saying, "The coin is broken." You just didn't flip enough. Most traders quit before the math even has a chance to show up. They give up right before probability was about to reward them. Tell me, how many times have you done that? How many times did you bail? Just before the logic of your system was about to kick in? You see, casinos don't do that. Casinos trust the math even when it looks like the math isn't working. If the casino loses 10 spins in a row, do they close the building? Do they fire the staff? Do they scream, "Something is wrong"? They smile. Because they know the next 100 spins are where the truth appears. Let me hit you with a question that might change your entire mindset. What if the reason you're struggling is because you're trying to judge a long-term game with short-term emotions? Now that one stings, doesn't it? But it's true. Every time you judge your trading system based on 1 to 3 trades, you're ignoring the only thing that matters, the probability. And that's what we're about to fix. Because in the next part, I'm going to show you how to take that casino mindset and build it into your actual trading habits, your risk, your entries, your exits, and even your emotions. This next part is where everything starts clicking. But now we get into the part most traders never learn. The part where probability stops being a cool idea and starts becoming the way you actually trade. But before we dive in, let me ask you something that might feel uncomfortable. Do you trade to win? Or do you trade to follow your edge? Think carefully. Your answer tells me everything about your trading life. Because gamblers trade to win. Professionals trade to execute an edge. One is emotional. The other is mathematical. One reacts. The other responds. One chases. The other follows a plan. And if you're honest with yourself, you know which side you've been on. But that changes today. Let's start building your casino mindset. Imagine this. You're holding a bucket. Inside that bucket are 100 little marbles. 40 red, 60 blue. If you reach in 10 times, you might pull out 7 reds and only 3 blues. Feels like bad luck, right? But if you reach in 100 times, you'll get close to that 60-40th split. That's probability. Your trading system is the bucket. Your trades are the marbles. You don't control the outcome of each grab, but you do control whether you stick to the bucket. Most traders don't. They switch buckets every week. They jump from strategy to strategy. They try to fix the bucket after every small loss. Imagine a casino doing that. Imagine a casino flipping its rules every hour because someone won one round. Insane, right? Yet traders do it every day. Let me give you a visual. Ever seen a little kid trying to catch waves at the beach? The waves push them back, and instead of bracing their feet, they run around trying to fight every single one. That's you. trying to fight the market wave by wave. Professionals don't fight the waves. They learn the tide. They learn the rhythm. They accept that some waves hit harder, some fall short, some knock them down, but they never lose the bigger picture. That's the power of probabilities. Now let's talk about your risk. Casinos don't just rely on probability. They manage risk so well that even when they lose small. You know that feeling when you risk way too much because the setup looks perfect? Yeah. That's not probability. That's hope dressed up as confidence. Let me show you how casinos think about risk. They never bet 20% of their bankroll on one game. That would be madness. So why do you? The casino may have millions coming in, but each individual game only risks a tiny slice. Because they don't want one loss to destroy the whole business. Now let me ask you, why do you let one trade destroy your confidence? Your mood? Your entire account? You know the answer. Because you haven't built the casino mindset yet. But here's where things change. If you want to think in probabilities, you must start risking like a casino. That means risking small enough that one loss barely stings. 2 losses barely sting. 5 losses don't even shake you. Because when you detach from the pain of losing, you finally give the math the chance to work. Let me hit you with something powerful. Small risk plus large sample size equals a trader who cannot be broken. When you risk small, you give yourself enough marbles to let the edge show up. When you risk big, you're flipping the coin only a few times and praying for good luck. Do you see the difference now? In trading, the one who survives the longest wins the most. And now we go even deeper. The next part isn't just about the mindset, it's about training your emotions to stop reacting like a gambler and start responding like the house. This part is so important that most traders spend years trying to figure it out. But you're about to get it in the next few minutes. What happens inside your brain when you win or lose directly affects whether you stay consistent or fall apart under pressure. In part 4, I'm going to show you the emotional wiring of a gambler versus the wiring of a casino, and how to shift your brain into the professional mode that keeps you calm, clear, and confident on every trade. Get ready. This is where the transformation happens. Before we dive in, I want you to breathe for a second, because this next part, this is where traders either level up or they stay stuck forever. Today, we're rewiring your trading brain. Let me start with a question that might punch you in the chest a little. Do you react to your trades? Or do you respond to them? Reacting is emotional. Responding is logical. Reacting is what gamblers do. Responding is what casinos do. Now let's break down what happens inside the mind of both. The gambler's brain. Picture a gambler staring at the roulette wheel. His heart is pounding. His palms are sweaty. His breathing is shallow. He doesn't see numbers. He doesn't see probability. He sees what he wants to see. When he wins, dopamine hits like a jackpot. When he loses, panic takes over. His emotions pull him like a puppet on strings. Sound familiar? That's you after a losing trade. Or worse, after a winning trade where you suddenly feel invincible. You're not thinking in probabilities. You're thinking in emotion swings. Gamblers chase feelings, not logic. The casino's brain. Now imagine the casino. No emotions. No panic. No excitement. Just rules. Just structure. Just math. The casino doesn't feel sad when it loses a big hand. It doesn't feel happy when it wins a big hand. It simply follows its edge with zero emotional drama. Because casinos understand something you don't. Outcomes don't matter. Only the process matters. They trust the blueprint. They trust the math. They trust the long game. The casino's calmness is not luck. It's discipline. Now let me ask you a real question. When you lose a trade, do you lose your mind? Or do you lose nothing but a tiny piece of your plan? Think about the last time you took a loss. Be honest with yourself. Did you feel frustration? Embarrassment? Fear? Did you feel like you had to fix it immediately? That right there is the emotional trap that keeps traders poor. But here's the twist you've never been told. You don't need to remove emotion. You just need to remove emotion from the decision-making. Your emotions can scream, but your actions must whisper. Your emotions can panic, but your rules must stay solid. Your emotions can doubt, but your system must stay the same. That's the shift. Let me give you an analogy you'll never forget. Think of your emotions like a hyper puppy, jumping everywhere, knocking things down, doing the most. If you let the puppy run the house, yes. But if you gently keep the puppy beside you, with structure, with boundaries, with calmness, you control the environment, not the puppy. That's how your mind should be when you trade. Your emotions can be there, but they cannot decide the trade. Now let me ask something deep. What would your trading results look like if you removed 80% of your emotional decisions? Would your account be bigger right now? Would you still have money you blew last month? Would you have avoided revenge trading? Would you have avoided over-leveraging? You already know the answer. You'd be a different trader right now. Probably a profitable one. So here's the truth most traders never hear. Profitable trading is 80% emotional discipline and 20% technical skill. Anyone can learn a strategy. Anyone can learn indicators. Anyone can draw lines on a chart. But controlling yourself? That's the real skill. That's what casinos have mastered. And that's what you're learning right now. In the next part, the final part, I'll show you how to take everything you've learned and build a step-by-step casino mindset system you can use every single day when you trade. We'll tie together the psychology, the probability thinking, the risk management, and the emotional control into one simple blueprint, a blueprint that can turn you from a gambler with charts into a calm, confident, consistent trader. And at the end, I'll give you a powerful call to action that strengthens the mindset you're building today. But you made it to the final part. And this is where everything comes together. Let's tie the entire casino mindset into something you can use every single day when you enter the market, because a mindset is useless if it doesn't translate into action. So today, I'm giving you the casino blueprint, a simple, clear way to trade like the house and stop trading like the gambler. But before I give you the steps, I want to ask you a question that might shift something deep inside you. If you traded exactly like a casino, what parts of your current behavior would you have to leave behind? Overtrading? Over-leveraging? Revenge trades? Changing systems every week? Expecting every trade to win? Yeah. All of that would have to go. And you know what's crazy? When you drop those habits, your trading instantly becomes calmer, cleaner, and more consistent. All right, let's get into your blueprint. The 5-step casino blueprint for traders. Step 1. Know your edge. Casinos don't guess. They know their numbers, their rules, their advantage. You need the same thing. What is your edge? Your exact setup? Your win rate? Your average risk to reward? If you don't know these, you're gambling, not trading. Your edge is your house advantage. It's not magic. It's not holy grail. It's simply the math behind your system. Know it. Write it down. Trust it. Step 2. Take a large sample size. Casinos don't rely on 3 spins. They rely on thousands. You should too. You can't judge your system on 5 trades, or 10 trades, or even 20. Your edge shows up over 50, 100, 200 trades. The bigger the sample size, the more the truth appears. So stop panicking over one loss. Stop celebrating over one win. Stop overreacting to tiny samples. Zoom out. Think long. Trade many. Step 3. Keep your risks small and steady. Casinos would never risk 20% on one spin. That would be stupid. So why do you? You should be risking an amount so small that losing 5 times in a row barely affects your mood. The smaller your risk, the larger your sample, the faster your edge appears. Small risk equals big survival. Big survival equals big success. Simple. Step 4. Remove emotion from the decision. Feel whatever you feel, that's okay. But don't act on that feeling. You can feel fear. You can feel doubt. You can feel frustration. You can feel excitement. but your actions must still follow the plan. Imagine a casino dealer crying because a gambler won. Imagine a manager smashing things because they lost a hand. Impossible. But because they follow rules, not feelings. You must do the same. Step 5. Judge yourself by process, not outcome. This is the secret sauce. The cheat code. The part almost nobody learns. When you judge yourself by wins and losses, your brain becomes emotional. But when you judge yourself by, did I follow my plan? Did I take a valid setup? Did I risk the right amount? Did I execute my edge? Then you trade with power. Because you're no longer chasing outcomes. You're mastering the process. Casinos never say, we lost this hand so we must be bad. They say, we followed the edge. We followed the process. We stay consistent. And that's what makes them unstoppable. Now let me ask you this one final question. What would happen to your trading if you became the casino and the market became the gamblers? Imagine the calm. Imagine the confidence. Imagine the consistency. Imagine the results. This is the mindset that separates losing traders from professional ones. This is the mindset that turns chaos into clarity. This is how you think in probabilities and win like the house. If this video gave you value, if it opened your eyes, if it made you look at trading differently, then do me a favor. Hit that like button. Not for me, for you. Because the more traders think this way, the fewer accounts get blown. And if you want more videos that talk to you like this one did, videos that go deep into trading psychology and help you build a stronger mind, subscribe to the channel. And before you leave, drop a comment below and tell me, I trade like the casino now. Let's build a community of traders who think long-term, who stay disciplined, and who play the game the way it was meant to be played. Stay focused, stay calm, stay consistent, and remember, you are the house. Trade like it.